Welcome to the Blurred channel. For any other huge fans of Star Wars, you know that we're kind of in the back half of season 3 of The Mandalorian. So to kind of get us ready for that countdown, I'm going to be ranking all the Star Wars properties from the last one to number 1. Couple of disclaimers. Usually I don't like to rate animated shows with live action because I feel like something that works in animation may not work in live action and vice versa. However, because there's not a whole lot of Star Wars properties and because so many of the animated properties weave in and out of the live action storylines, I'm gonna be ranking them together. And again, these are just my rankings, but I would love to hear your thoughts and your rankings down in the comments. Feel free to drop them. And without further ado, let's get into it. Coming in at number 18, what I believe is the worst Star Wars project we have ever gotten is The Last Jedi. Now, as we've all heard, this is probably the most polarizing Star Wars movie that has ever been released, but I have a very simple reason as to why I have it ranked at number 18. To me, a cohesive, a good movie needs to have one direction and a solid direction that the movie is going in. In this movie, Rian Johnson wanted to do something so different, but J.J. Abrams was still the producer. So you had two men with conflicting ideas on where the Star Wars universe should go. And what it looks like is that there wasn't really a compromise reached. It looks like wherever Rian Johnson took it, J.J. Abrams made a couple of changes and had it turn another way. And then Rian Johnson had it turned, so it felt like we're ping-ponging between two different narratives, two different directors, two different ideas for the entire movie, and it made for a jumbled, discombobulated mess. No one knew how they wanted to portray Luke Skywalker, what they wanted him to be like. And then we have a little expedition where this new character, Rose, gets thrown into the light onto a planet with something that made no sense and barely had any impact on the entire film. We had a scene that clearly seemed like it was setting up Leia's death based upon the fact that Kylo had already killed Han, and her dying really could have been what sparked Luke to get back into action and actually train Rey. But then they just used the Force to save her life instead, even though everything was pointing to her dying in that moment. Like, that's what I'm talking about. It's like two people just taking it in completely different directions. There are so many plot holes, like where Finn is about to sacrifice himself, and again, I don't want Finn to die, but then Rose decides to save him by almost killing him. Like, that crash easily could have killed them. And again, I might be wrong, but it definitely seems like two different directions. One person wanted Finn to die at that scene, and then at the last second, someone else was like, no, let's keep him alive. We're gonna have Rose come in and save him, even though it doesn't make any sense. I have to say, I personally think J.J. Abrams, I liked his direction. I definitely preferred that over Rian Johnson. I think what he was trying to do with Star Wars, he should have made his own universe and come up with it. You know, it doesn't really fit in Star Wars. But bottom line, I think if Rian Johnson was given complete control, it would have been much better. If J.J. Abrams was given complete control, it would have been complete better. Those two men did not work well together, and it created a terrible, terrible movie.